Hello, I'm Al Castro, and welcome to another episode of Sergeant Al's Traffic Ticket Blog. In this episode, we are at the 2019 Orange County Auto Show at the Anaheim Convention Center here in Anaheim, California. And something that they're doing that's unique as opposed to other auto shows that they've had in the past is they're having a electromobility section that's cordoned off that's dedicated to electric vehicles. It's called Electric Avenue, and they have dedicated professionals there that are available to talk to you about electromobility and the options that are available to you as far as electric cars go. And we're going to be talking to several people there about what kind of options are available for you for either electric cars and even hydrogen fuel cell cars. And we're going to talk about that also, about the hydrogen fuel cell world and the differences between gas, electric, and hydrogen. Also coming up are going to be some fun stuff I'm going to be showing you. We're going to go downstairs to the exotic and customization and souvenir shops where there's just about everything for all kinds of people of all different kinds of ages here at the auto show. So coming up in this episode is the Orange County Auto Show on Sergeant Al's Traffic Ticket Blog. Hello, this is Al Castro, and I'm here at the Anaheim Convention Center here in California, and this is the 2019 annual auto show. And this year, what the organizers of the auto show have decided to do was to cordon off an area that is dedicated to electromobility, and it's called Electric Avenue. And what's unique about the situation is that one of the key sponsors is Southern California Edison, and they have dedicated professionals here to answer your questions and allay a lot of fears that you may have about buying an electric car. Over the next 4 years, as I've been trying to tell people, there's going to be a massive transformation that I don't think even the car industry itself is fully aware of. When the two largest car companies in the world, that just so happen to be two of one of the biggest corporations in the world, announced that they were professing to become all electric within the next 10 years, what that actually did was it pushed the entire auto industry in the direction that now, in order to survive, experts all agree everyone is going to have to go all electric, or at least have some kind of electric vehicle. The only ones that will be able to afford, ironically, to straddle of producing gas and electric cars are the boutique startups and the bespoke traditional automakers like Aston Martin and Rolls-Royce, that you cut a check for $300,000 or $300,000 or $500,000, they'll make any kind of vehicle that you want if you come to think of it. But other than that, if it's about mass assembly and mass production, it's about electromobility. And as experts also mutually agree, some brands will not be able to survive. And this is why we are here at this stage, where I'm trying to get everybody to prepare for this transformation to come. Within the next 4 years, approximately 150 to 200 brand new, separate, mostly all electric vehicles are coming to the North American market alone, okay? So it's coming, folks, and it's a matter of preparing ourselves for when this transformation will occur. And this actually brings us here to the Nissan Leaf. And the first episode of our show will deal with the Nissan Leaf, and we're going to deal with all different aspects of it. It comes here to the Nissan Leaf itself, and they have it here on display here at the auto show. So I'm going to try to put the camera around in different areas, because I don't have a cameraman right now, to show you the Nissan Leaf and show you the different aspects of it, to take advantage of this while it's here at the auto show and before they open it to the general public. Now, if you purchase a Nissan Leaf or any electric car in California, you're entitled to up to $7,500 tax federal credit, okay? That's not a rebate, actually, that's a credit. Congress right now is in the process of trying to change that actually into a rebate, but you know how that thing goes on in Washington. And here in California, you get a $2,500 rebate. And if you get an electric car and you are a Southern California Edison customer, you get you get a check, not a rebate or reduction in your monthly bill. You actually will get a check for a used or a new electric car. So here we are inside the interior of a Nissan Leaf, and this is actually as far as I can remember. Now please understand, I test drive and take a look at a lot of cars. I think this is actually probably the first time that I've been in a Nissan Leaf, unless they've reconfigured the instrumentation. And I can tell you, for a electric car, it seems to be that they are really I'm talking about the car makers are really starting to learn their lesson about not making these things so ugly. I cannot understand why they do that. One of the interesting things that I have learned over the years is the closer a car gets to production, the more conservative and the more it starts to fall in line in design and in looks, like a regular production car, and more within the confines of their brand, the way they brand their vehicles, and also in the branding design, than they do when it's something that's more abstract. So when you see something that, oh, that's something that I can drive, most likely the designers are keenly aware of that, and they're looking to market that car. They're looking to bring it to market as soon as possible. So I can see here, this is a combination of Alcantara and leather. There's stitching here in the upholstery. The steering wheel is leather wrapped. They have a nice screen here. I would say maybe it's about 7.5, 8 inches wide, and there are power ports for plugging in your accessories and devices. And it's pretty nicely designed. You can fit up to 5 people in here. I'm 6'1". And I fit quite comfortably. I can see myself driving something like this. Now, you know, I'm not a big fan of the Nissan Leaf, and I'll explain that as we go along in this process. But this is the interior. Actually, I'll take the camera off the tripod and let you go inside to see what it looks like. Let's do a backseat test, all right? Now, remember that I'm 6'1". This is what it's like with the seat back, to sit inside the back seat of a Nissan Leaf. And you know what? It's not all that bad. This is a tiny bit cramped. This is about hurry up and let's get there, so I don't get muscle cramps. But if the seat is probably up further and I can put the headrest up in the behind me, there's very little actually that can get me to take a nice good nap. But yeah, I can see myself sitting in this for a little bit of a while. It's just everybody else is going to have to make themselves a little bit more cramped, I guess, so that I can get less cramped. But this is pretty good. And in a pinch, you could probably put somebody in the middle if it's about going, you know, into town or around the corner. We're now at the backside of the Nissan Leaf. Let me just bring this down so you can see it. The Nissan Leaf is a hatch. It is not exactly a crossover. It can probably perform like one. That's the interesting thing about these modular platforms. Just about all of these cars now, actually in the passenger car realm, there's only probably about a handful of cars left that they put on a ladder frame. Otherwise, it's usually about a truck, particularly an SUV like Cadillac Escalade, which incidentally and ironically would make it a perfect vehicle to be BEV. They would just have to make the frame and the body lightweight, probably make it all aluminum, and then take those battery packs and put them right in between the ladders. Boom. That's why I've been a big advocate. Their first vehicle, actually, the Cadillac Escalade, should have been all electric, but that's another story. But you know, who am I to say? I'm not an engineer. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera in closer, but I wanted you to take a look to get you an idea of the size and space of the Nissan Leaf. You can throw a lot of bags in here. It has a nice rear end. Back here is a plastic box. It says Bose on it. I'm assuming that's part of the infotainment and or the audio system. Okay, and there you have it. Here is the inside of the Nissan Leaf. The rear seats are split foldings. You can put long skinny stuff on one side or big fat long stuff on the other side and still have one or two people sit in the back seat. And then here is the rear deck shelf here on top. So this is the rear end. With the handheld device that I have for the camera, I'm now going to have you take a look inside the Nissan Leaf to take a look at the really, really nice interior. I'm very, very impressed. The last one that I saw, it was kind of plasticky, you know, cheap. But that's what was famous about this car that makes it amazing in a lot of ways. And you have to give Nissan credit for that. This is about a vehicle that they really had the balls, really, when you think about how the auto industry works, to bring it to full production within the same year that Tesla introduced their Model S, and they did it on the cheap. They've had problems as a result of that. This is one of the few electric cars on the road, actually, that does not have active cooling management. But you know, as we go along in this discussion and in further episodes, I'm going to show you things like battery tray services, where on the cheap you'll be able to upgrade your battery, get a new battery, and have thermal cooling options that you don't have OEM with a car like the Nissan Leaf. And you're going to see it, no doubt. I'm telling you right now, of Nissan Leafs on YouTube going 100 miles an hour, drag stripping, beating, you know, Hellcats. It's coming, because the motors and the batteries on these things are very easy to replace. What does it look like under the hood of an electric car? Some of you might be wondering, who have never seen or been inside an electric car before. Well, this is it. And one of the things I keep telling people in this journey that we're undergoing with electromobility is we really do need to look at these vehicles as a separate, different invention than the gas car. The automobile is really becoming a garage appliance, and we need to start looking at it that way. The components are much, much more easier. Actually, if the dealers got over themselves to realize there is potential here, no two electric vehicles need to look or act alike. There's a lot of customizations that you can do with an electric vehicle that are much more expensive and harder to do with gas cars. There could be different kinds of power plants, drivetrains, accessories, lots of things you can do. But basically, you know, there are a lot of similarities. There's HVAC, that's the air conditioning. Here is now this is the main battery. This is probably to cool the car, heat the car, run the infotainment, and all that other stuff, other than the battery pack itself, which is supposed to supply power. This is probably some kind of fuse box. That is the master brake cylinder, I'm assuming. Here is the overflow for the coolant. You know, there are a lot of similarities. There's a hell of a lot less things to work on inside an electric car. But this is a Nissan Leaf. I was about to say Nissan Bolt. Nissan Leaf.
Al, we're here at the OC Auto Show, particularly at Electric Avenue as a sponsor, because we want people to learn more about electric vehicles. We know once they come here and see all the makes and models available and understand that once they're sitting in one, seeing it, feeling it, they're going to get excited and want to own one. That's why we're here. Edison is really working to make electric vehicles accessible to everyone. And we're doing this in a number of ways. For one, we have a $1,000 rebate for purchasing a new or used electric vehicle.
Now let me stop you right there. That $1,000 has nothing about the government. That's Edison?
Correct. If they're an Edison customer, then they're eligible for up to a $1,000 rebate purchasing or leasing a new or used electric vehicle. Secondly, our Charge Ready program has already installed over 1,000 charging stations in our 50,000 square mile service area.
Wow.
We have commitment commitments for another 1,400, and we have future plans for thousands more.
Let me stop you right there. Now, to give you an idea of this dynamic, there are 11 states out toward the west where the nearest charger is 80 miles away. This is why I'm saying the solution isn't a hybrid. It's actually to get a long-range BEV to get around that problem if you don't have home charging. And here you're telling us you've installed how many?
Over 1,000 so far.
Wow, and this is in a tighter area.
In our 50,000 square mile service area.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's right. We've done that by partnering with workplaces, with universities, with hospitals, with schools, and public sites to provide charging for electric vehicles.
I see. So tell us about these chargers. Are they going to be compatible across the whole product spectrum? CHAdeMO, talk about those different kinds of things, those issues that people have with charging.
The charging we've installed through our Charge Ready program are all level 1 and level 2 chargers, primarily level 2 chargers, which are universal with any EV. Any EV can come in and plug into those. We have some pilots that are offering DC fast charging. We're installing those at 5 sites in our service territory, and we're making sure they're compatible both with CHAdeMO and CCS. So we support programs and install stations that are universal and meet standards both from a safety perspective and an interoperability perspective.
Now let me ask you this, and this is for not Tesla owners know the answer to this. I'm doing this for the people that are in the market for buying a Tesla. These chargers are also compatible with Tesla, just in case the charging station is busy or what have you. They can come and use these chargers as well. Is that correct?
They can, because Tesla owners have an adapter that would work with one of these charging stations.
Yes, okay, very good. So let's talk about this rolling rebate kind of a thing that you were talking about. How would that affect 3 times an owner for the same electric vehicle?
Exactly. So our Clean Fuel Reward provides up to $1,000 rebate for a purchase or leased EV. But it can also be a used EV, and up to 3 owners can receive the rebate. The person that bought it the first time, the first person who bought the used vehicle, and the second person that bought the used vehicle.
That's 3 times?
Correct.
Wow. And this is something that's given in taxes, a rebate on taxes, in a cash give back. Could you explain how that's...
It's a check back to the Edison customer.
Wow. So this is something that they can apply to their...
They simply apply online and submit registration information and have their Edison account information available, and we will process their rebate.
So, let me ask you one last question. Does Edison do this, not just here at the auto show, but anywhere else? Do you do this in a rolling kind of thing in the Southern California area? Could you give us the information, website, stuff like that?
Absolutely. I think several resources for customers, SCE.com. Also, cars.sce.com is a great tool and app to compare electric vehicles, see what kind of fuel savings and cost savings you can receive, as well as all the incentives available for those vehicles.
Lisa, you are a media pro. You got this. We did not just one take. One take, Lisa. Lisa Arianes from Edison Power. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
Thank you. One of the things that I like about the Toyota demonstration at the auto show is their Mirai exhibit that they have. This is a common thing that I see that they bring at the auto shows. This is probably going to move on to Los Angeles. This is the Mirai. This is a hydrogen car. There's a lot of myths and misconceptions about hydrogen fuel technology. As I say, I'm not anti-hydrogen fuel cell car. It's just not the car of the moment. In as much as electric cars 100 years ago during the brass era were not cars at the moment. And yes, as I've mentioned before, the gasoline automobile industry hurried that along to get them out of the picture. But it's about having the technology at the right time and the right moment, and it has to be cheap. And that's what electromobility has come to. It's now more cheaper to make an electric car than it is a gasoline car. And Once it gets to that moment where hydrogen fuel technology becomes cheaper to make, because this is an electric car, and I'll explain what the differences are, this will become the car of the moment. And I think this is where this technology is going to. I think most of us will be gone by then. This will probably be in 50 years, but once this is perfected, this is probably the next step. Either a combination of electromobility and hydrogen mobility, we will see the rise of the hydrogen fuel cell car. Now, what is a hydrogen fuel cell car? This is not about the motor, it is about the battery. How this works is, this is the tank, and what you do is, the fuel filler is where you supply the hydrogen fuel, and the hydrogen fuel is frozen. It is intense. It's not as cold as when you put the dry ice on your hand when you touch it and you get burnt, but it is cold enough that you will notice a substantive difference than the ice cube that's in your drink. And what happens is that the hydrogen fuels the process of the, where is it? I guess of the battery. I'm looking for the battery pack. It will supply, probably here, it will supply the energy to the batteries, and then it is from there that the batteries supply the energy to the motors. That's how that works. Contrary to how petromobility works, where when you take the Gottlieb Daimler two-stroke motor that started this all, the fuel is supplied directly into the motor. That's not how that works here. It's about the fuel being supplied to the battery, and then the battery supplies the energy to the motor or the motors, as the case is here. The Toyota Mirai is a separate model from the Toyota Prius. It may look similar, but it's a completely different model. It's a completely different car, and it is Toyota's baby. And you can understand why, when you learn more about hydrogen fuel technology, why they're betting so much and investing so much of themselves into that. I just think that we need to go through the process of electromobility first, and I think they've recently realized this too. Mind you, Toyota is the only major car company left that doesn't have not one, probably FCA also, has not one non-compliance, full production electric vehicle out on the market. Yeah, there are a couple, but you would figure this is perfect for Toyota. Toyota and Honda are the perfect brands to introduce electromobility, but they don't have a non-compliance car yet on the market, and it's kind of frustrating, but understandably why, when they have so much invested in fuel cell technology. So this is the hydrogen fuel cell car. I'm here at the Kia section of the Orange County Auto Show, and one of the things that's impressed me about the Kia brand is how they've come a long way in improving their brand image. This isn't about sportage anymore. If you remember back in the day in the 90s with that tiny little SUV and all the problems that you used to hear about it. These are about quality products that Kia has been producing. Right now, I'm with one vehicle that is not part of the electromobility collection that they have at the convention center. This is the 2019 Kia Niro. This is also the equivalent of the Hyundai Kona. This is the all-electric SUV. Now, when the Tesla Model Y comes out, you're going to see a whole new different dynamic in the auto industry and in this segment that we haven't quite seen before. And this is where the competition is already very intense. Matter of fact, you can make an argument that one of the reasons why the Kia Niro and the Hyundai Kona are here first is because of Model Y. It was a matter of time before somebody produces an all-electric, full-out SUV, and the Koreans already have it. And you know what? They've done a pretty good job of it too. These vehicles have a larger range than the Chevy Bolt, and they're within that competitive zone of a base model Model 3, and where the Model Y will be when it is in production next year for 2021. So this is a compact SUV. This is probably where the baseline will start in the electric market, as opposed to where sedans, and in the case of the Nissan Leaf, where a 5-door hatch begins. And this is probably where the competition will become most intense. and they're here. And we're talking about 250, 260 miles of range, and you can't beat that. And it wouldn't surprise me, actually, if you could tow rate this particular vehicle, okay? So here it is, a Kia Niro, and the Hyundai Kona is probably the equivalent of this also here as well. You know, I've already gone through half an ocean of automobiles here at the 2019 Orange County Auto Show, and I have yet to see that many concept vehicles. One of the things that is encouraging is when I come across actually the first concept vehicle that is an electric car. And what I have here is what's called the Kia Niro concept, and this is a vehicle that is all electric, all wheel drive. It will have over 300 miles of range. They call them butterfly doors. It's kind of like a suicide door, kind of similar to what the BMW i3 has on its side as far as the doors are concerned. What I do find interesting about this vehicle, this is similar to what the Nissan Leaf variant is going to look like in a year or two. They're taking the Nissan Leaf and taking it in a whole new different direction, I guess because of the problems that they've had with their active cooling battery management system. They want to actually, no pun intended, turn a new leaf by introducing a whole new vehicle. If you notice, this is more squared off, it's more conservative. This is what I've been talking about. Electric cars and autonomous cars are ugly, and I don't know why the auto industry does that, but when they start to make them like this, where they're clean, cut off, more conservative, this car is probably close to production. This is a telltale sign that they're seriously thinking about bringing this car to market. So I just wanted to show you that. It looks like it is mid-sized. That back door that you see there, and it looks like a suicide door actually. It looks quite spacious inside. But this is the Kia Niro concept, and I don't know if it's set for production, but it wouldn't surprise me if they have something like that coming soon. You would think that the Holy Grail is being displayed here at this part of the 2019 Orange County Auto Show, but what I have behind me actually is the brand new Corvette C8 model that recently came out just a few weeks ago out of the Bowling Green, Kentucky plant at General Motors. This vehicle is all about gasoline, but this will play a very strategic part in electromobility coming soon. One of the nice things about having the power plant of the Corvette go to the middle of the car body is that it is perfect for an electric car. And next year, when Tesla introduces their Roadster, the second iteration of the Roadster, this is going to be one of the key models that are going to compete with that Tesla vehicle. Already we're talking about a car that's $200,000, probably at least 1,500 horsepower. It will have 621 miles of range. So this is going to be the car this vehicle is eventually going to have to compete with. The question is, and it hasn't been answered yet, as to whether or not it's going to be a Cadillac or if it's going to be a Chevrolet. That's something that we're going to see, but fairly pretty soon. I would say sometime within 2022, 23, we'll see the electric vehicle come out. But this is, in this beautiful chocolate color, the C8 Corvette. I'll step back for you to take a really good look at it. From Chevrolet, this is it. Mid-engine C8 body Corvette. So here I am working my way down to the exotic end of the auto show, and one of the interesting things that I see here this year that I didn't see apparently last year was that they're allowing people actually to go inside the cars. Now, I came here last year on a Sunday night and I didn't see this happening, and I'm kind of glad that they're doing this now, and this emphasizes the point that if you go to an auto show, you really should do it as soon as possible. Go on like the first day, that afternoon, actually when it opens. And the reason why is because that's where all the good prizes and the free things that they hand out, they have plenty of. That by the time you do this by a Friday, Saturday night, or a Sunday during the day, there's hardly anything left and you miss out on most of the fun. And it's probably this thing, I highly doubt that this is going to be open Saturday or Sunday to let everybody sit in these $100,000+ cars. But anyway, here they are, and it's a special treat always to come here at this end of the auto show to see what's coming up down the road with the exotics. You know, I often tell people it's very important that we pay attention to what the exotic brands are doing, because the reason why is obviously because of the price point. They get the first of the best technology. One of the reasons why all of our cars have air conditioning, full power, tilt, cruise, infotainment is because the Cadillacs, the Lincolns, and the Rolls Royces had that first, and then we get that technology as well. And that's why you can buy a Honda and it's practically all power assisted. One of the nice things is that, especially now in the age of electromobility and automobility, now more than ever we get an idea of what our future cars will be like. And one of the things that is one of the good things actually about electromobility is that once the dealers and the dealer networks realize how flexible they can be in offering goods and services for their customers, there's a lot more configurations and things you can do with an electric car than you can do with a gas car. Because of the simplicity in the layout of an electric car, you have more options that you can provide customers as far as motor, drivetrain, drive configurations, design, even the wheels. There's a lot more things you can do with an electric car and how you offer it that no two, really, when you think about it, should be exactly the same. And by coming here and taking a look at what all the exotics have to offer, you can get a flavor and an idea of what's to come down the road with our future electric cars. I'm downstairs in the basement of the 2019 Orange County Auto Show. Down here is mostly about exotics, customization, and accessories. Usually off-road vehicles and specialty vehicles are down here as well. One of the things that you see in the background actually, and I'll get to that in a minute, is the toy section, the die-cast model cars, which alone, that's my hobby. Is one of the most interesting things actually about the auto show, and why there really is a lot of things for different age groups to come to the auto show. Besides the fact that it's a learning experience, there are things here that the kids can see and you can buy for them. One of the interesting things, however, are the customizations that you see, and some of them are so beautiful that when you look at them, you don't even see where the original car ended, that the customized car that you see here begins. This is a Chevrolet. I'm assuming it's some kind of Impala. And the way that it has been customized, it's being low to the ground, the chrome, the color that you don't see it come in a factory color like this, that makes this kind of car not only artwork, but unique in the way that it is recreated to the vehicle that it is here today. I can't tell you how, even tastefully, it's done by low riding standards, and I'm wording that carefully. And right next to it is a Impala station wagon that's done in this beautiful lime green that you rarely ever see in a kind of vehicle like these that you have here. The reason why I'm showing you these vehicles is because these are gasoline vehicles, and in the customization process you're going to see something that you quite haven't seen yet with electromobility that petromobility just doesn't have. And like I've mentioned, because of the different configurations that you can do with an electric car, with drivetrain, the motor, the drivetrain configuration, and even with the wheels, that customization can be so personalized with the electric car that you can't do it at that level with a gasoline car, because all the components are so easily removable and interchangeable that really no two electric cars should really be the same. So what I'm going to show you is just, I'm going to give you some B-roll examples of these vehicles to get an idea of how beautiful they are and customized, that you you really get to see an opportunity like this at all. All right, I often say if you can't afford the car, then try to get the replica. And the man to go to see if he has one, and there's a very good chance that he may, is Paul Meck of the Burning Rubber Toy Company. He actually probably has the only toy truck in the world. And here he is. Sir, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. So please tell me about your car collection and what's so unique about it.
So what we do is completely different than anyone else in the country. We sell cars to real car people. We have everything in order by make, model, year. We have the largest selection and the world's only toy truck. So we took an old converted beverage truck, gutted it, and made it into a mobile toy truck like you see in front of you here. So everything is in order by make, model, year. There's nothing else like it on the planet. So we pride ourselves by having every toy company that there is and having everything in perfect order. So whatever you need, you come up and ask me, we'll have it for you.
How many scales of cars do you have?
We do basically 3. It's 1/64th, which is Hot Wheel size. We do 1/24th, which is over there. And we have 1/18th, which is the largest size.
Which is the most popular?
1/64th by far.
Why is that?
The selection cannot be beat. There is no one else that can carry that many things. And space, we're in California, is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
You could fit a lot more of this in a lot of tiny space.
Now, I'm sure like everything else in life, there is a price point. Tell me what would be the cheapest car and the most expensive car, and why is that the case?
Well, my motto's always been $20 or less is a non-thinking process. We're not in a thinking business.
Yeah.
We want to make this very easy for you.
Yeah.
So everything we carry is $20 or less for the most part.
Oh,
so
okay.
make it very easy and make it affordable for everybody.
Yeah.
And they start at about $5.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're dealing basically on the low mass market, and actually that would probably be perfect for this kind of venue because the kids, they see the cars, they get all carred up, for lack of a better way of putting it, and you've got the perfect fix for that, and it's not going to cost the parents too much.
The parents can come here, test drive whatever they like, and the kids can get that car to take home with them, and everybody's happy.
All right. And the electric cars?
Yeah, we own a Tesla, and we have a Tesla Model S. Yeah.
There you go.
The next plan of attack is to actually build a Tesla Semi version of this.
Wow. Yeah, I gotta get one of those.
Yeah,
so,
that'd be incredible.
Give me the website. Are you also one more? You're gonna be at the
LA Auto Show.
LA Auto Show,
so this
right?
is our smaller booth. Our booth at LA Auto Show is actually 1,200 square feet. It's massive. So literally anything you want.
So more than
there.
this.
Oh yeah, it's 6 times bigger than this booth.
What other venues do you do?
Every week we're somewhere. Our website is burningrubbertoycompany.com. You go on there. It'll tell you where we're going to be. And then our eBay store is our big thing. We have over 7,000 different 1/64 size cars on there. It's massive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got to go there.
We've kind of taken over the place.
Wow.
Our photography is incredible. So it's really easy, and we show all views of the vehicle. And this is the biggest selection you can find anywhere.
Paul Meck, the toy man. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate
Nice
it.
to meet you. Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
No problem.